Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I'm sitting down to chat with you guys about summer, basically a summer recap. When I shared on Instagram a lot about our RV travels and things, I got a lot of questions and a lot of you wanting to know details on our trip and things like that. So I figured I would sit down and chat with you guys about how our summer went, how I'm feeling moving into a new homeschool year, and just kind of share my heart with you. I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. You guys will hear more from Skillshare here in a moment, but I am definitely thinking about fall and all of the things that I want to do that I know will help me feel like I am nurturing myself, learning myself, which in turn makes me a better mom, wife, homeschooler, and able to share with you guys here. So that's what we're going to be doing today. You can definitely get on the treadmill, grab some coffee, sit down for some quiet time. You know, there's nothing to really see here. I'm just going to chat with you guys. So if you enjoy chatty videos, then I hope you enjoy hearing about our summer. All right, so before I begin telling you about my summer, I would like to know how your summer was. Please leave me a comment down below. How are you feeling getting ready to head into your next homeschool year? Whether you never stopped and you continued all throughout summer, or you took a brief pause like we did and you're gearing back up, or if you're gonna wait until September or October, just let me know how your summer went. What did you do? Did you accomplish anything you wanted to? You know, I love hearing from you guys, so leave me a comment down below. So, as I already told you, Skillshare is sponsoring this portion of today's summer recap, and a lot of you are probably familiar with Skillshare for their classes for creatives. I've been sharing Skillshare with you guys for years because I love them for myself, but also use them in my homeschool. There are tons of creative classes on Skillshare, which many of you probably already know. But what I think a lot of you don't know is that Skillshare has an entire section dedicated to professionals. So if you are someone who has any kind of business, if you are an entrepreneur in any kind of way, if you share your life on social media, if you have an Etsy store, anything, there are so many classes that will help you with your business, from branding to letting your voice come through in the content that you share, to simple things like operating a camera and doing so in a really, simple way. There are classes available on Skillshare for you. So the class that I took this month was a short class. In total, it was only 40 minutes long. Each section was only a couple of minutes. And so I just enjoyed hearing some nuggets of wisdom from this class on the art of planning and master time management. I consider myself to be very well versed in this area, but I am not above continuing to add, skills and tools to my knowledge. So this class was from an instructor called Anouk, or her name is Anouk Rose. And there were just really great things that I had never thought about or considered, and it's just sometimes nice to get your wheels turning. It's not necessarily that I don't know how to manage my time well, because clearly I do, but it's just nice when you're trying to think through your fall, when you're trying to think through what the next portion of your homeschool is going to look like, to have somebody asking or pointing out probing questions that sometimes seem obvious in hindsight, but it's something that you probably hadn't considered. So if you guys want to check out Skillshare, I will have a link down below for you guys. You can get a 1-month free trial to Skillshare when you use my link down below. I am telling you guys, check it out as you're looking toward your fall. Fall really is such a wonderful time in everyone's lives, because no matter how we run our homes and our homeschools, everyone is settling back into a routine. We are all reflecting and reprioritizing what is most important to our families, and keeping your business life successful while homeschooling is no easy task. So if you're a mom that does that, Skillshare will help you. And even if you're not and you're considering it, Skillshare can help in that area as well. So that link will be down below for you guys if you want to check out Skillshare. Went by the fastest any of the most recent summers I can think of has. I shared this on Instagram, or maybe it was in a day in the life. I can't remember what I say where, but I talked about how when I was a kid, summer felt like it took forever. And I was always so ready to go back to school as a child. So now being the homeschool mom, I'm like, why does summer feel so fast? So this summer went by really, really quick for us. It was one of the shorter summers we've taken. We are year-round homeschoolers, but I do take a longer pause in the summer for a couple of reasons. Number one is because I need a little bit longer of a break in the summer. Number two, my kids do extracurriculars that kind of operate around the public school schedule, and so trying to school through that would just be really difficult. And number three, we like to travel in our RV, and RVing is definitely done the majority in the summertime. So all of those reasons are why we take a longer summer break, but still staying on a year-round schedule. We only took about 6 weeks this year, so 6 weeks off. Our first week off of school was VBS week. And all three of my older kids served in VBS, and my youngest daughter attended her last VBS this year. Our church does it VBS going into the 6th grade, but then like next year when she's going into 7th grade, then she will move up and be a helper. So that was our first week of summer break. And if you guys know anything about VBS, those are busy days. Those are early mornings. My kids were serving joyfully, but they were working hard. And so that was how we started our summer break, a full week of VBS. Once that wrapped up, we had about 2 or 3 days before we headed out on our first camping trip for the 4th of July weekend. We were gone, I want to say from Friday to Tuesday. We camp with our really good friends, and then also my brother and sister-in-law join us, and then my friends' in-laws actually joined us. So we had a pretty good sized group where we were camping, and we all had our travel trailers and RVs up where we were, and we barbecue and fish and hang out and just enjoy being in nature and celebrating the 4th of July together. Everyone wears patriotic outfits, and it's just such a fun time sitting around the campfire at night telling stories and just catching up. So that led us into about the 2nd week of July. Then my son turned 13. So I officially have 3 teenagers in my house. I have a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 16-year-old. Lord, be with me. Please pray for me. I am not saying that lightly. I'm not going to be one of those moms that says how horrible teenagers are, because they're actually really awesome. But I will also be authentic and honest and tell you that these are the most exhausting parenting years, far more than when I had 4 under 4. These are emotionally and mentally taxing years. That happened and we celebrated my son turning 13, and he had a really great birthday. Then we were home for about a week after his birthday before we loaded up the RV and headed off on our 2-week road trip this summer, which was the pinnacle of the trip was getting up to Mount Rushmore. So Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota, the Black Hills of South Dakota, and it's quite a trek. It's about 1,000-ish miles from where we are. And when we RV, we do not like to make it stressful. I'm sure there is someone out there that's going to say they drove from Florida to Mount Rushmore in a day's time or something like that. But that is not the point. The point is to enjoy the journey and have really cool, fun stops along the way. So that's what we did. We visited 5 states, getting to Mount Rushmore, and then returning from Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, we came home a different route. So we spent time in Heber City, Utah, We spent one night in Casper, Wyoming. We spent 5 entire days in South Dakota, right outside Mount Rushmore. We stayed at the KOA that is in Hill City. It is the Mount Rushmore KOA. It is incredible. I highly recommend it. From there, we spent one night in Fort Collins, Colorado. Not much to see there in my opinion. And then from there we headed to Glenwood Springs, Colorado, where we spent a few days and had a beautiful riverfront RV site that was right on the Colorado River. Also, little story time for you. I am a very adventurous girl. I hike a lot. I've been all over. We travel a ton. We are active. We are out there. We are doing things. I tell you all this to say I have never come across a snake in the wild. Now, out where I live, snakes are not cute little garden snakes. They're actually deadly rattlesnakes. So it's a good thing that I have not come across one of them. However, in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, the minute I put my foot in the grass by our RV site, I almost stepped on a snake. And it scared me so bad. I screamed. It was a whole thing. And then the very next day, we were on this hiking trail called Hanging Lake, and you do have to get passes for it if you want to do it. It's beautiful. I highly recommend that hike in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. We were hiking down and I saw another snake like right next to me. So I have gone almost 30, how old am I? I have gone 36 years without seeing a snake in the wild. And in 2 days, I saw 2 snakes, okay? And I almost stepped on one of them. So I will never forget that. I do not like snakes. And I know people will say, oh, they're good. Yeah, okay, well, I just still don't like them. And I couldn't believe that I've gone this long without ever seeing one and then 2 days in a row. But we had a great time in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. And then from there, we came home. So that was 2 weeks. That took us from about July the 15th to July the 30th. And then I gave myself a week to get reacclimated to home. And I actually thought we would start back to school on August the 7th. And then I was not feeling ready. The week after we got back from the RV, we had some troubles coming home with tires, and so we were dealing with that. My youngest daughter got braces put on, so I was dealing with that. I needed to schedule some teeth extractions and some wisdom teeth consultations because that is going to be coming in the fall. My oldest daughter is becoming a Red Cross certified lifeguard. So she was working on that and we had that going on. And so I just said, you know, I do not want to start my school year feeling fatigued. And quite honestly, I am tired. So I took one more week. And I was very, very intentional. We had things on the calendar because there's always things going on in life, but very focused on like resting that week. And so I'm really glad that I did that. And at the point of filming this, I am feeling more prepared for, and when I say prepared, I don't mean physically prepared. I mean mentally and emotionally prepared to begin homeschooling again. Jake and I also celebrated our 17th or 18th. Gosh, I should really do the math for these dates before I get on here. It's 23. So 17, we got married in 06. 17 or 18 year wedding anniversary, which is amazing and such a testament to God's grace and mercy on our lives. And so I just stand in awe that we have been able to cling to Him and each other through all life has thrown at us for all of these years, with so many worldly statistics and odds stacked against us, like getting married young, being poor, having kids really fast, having stressful careers, him, you know. And so anyway, I am just so grateful, and it's a testimony of God's faithfulness in my life. So we celebrated our anniversary just with a nice dinner, and we went to a comedy show of someone we love, and it was really great. So that has been what we have been up to this summer. I also created a homeschool prep checklist that thousands of you guys have downloaded for free on my website and have been using to prepare for your homeschool year. It has blessed my heart so much to see how many of you guys have been using that, and I'm just grateful to be able to help in any way. It's not to say like this is the way to prepare, it's just this is what I do. And I actually typed it up in the notes section on my phone and then turned it into a cute graphic and a downloadable with the help of my assistant. And it's been amazing. So I personally was working through my own list that I made up here and there. Like basically the minute we wrapped up, I didn't do anything the week of VBS as far as like homeschool stuff, but the following week I had to clean out the room, I had to clean out the bins and binders and all that. And I was working like intermittently, and I'm so glad that I did that before we left on our RV trip, the 2-week one, because otherwise I would not have been prepared. It's like you never really realize how long things take until you start going and you're like, oh my gosh, I have been cleaning out desks for 3 hours and I am done. So yeah, I was really grateful that I prepared in that way. When we got back at the end of July, I only had a few things that I needed to do, and they were simple things. So like I was able to do all of them in one day. It was a lot of like buying our online math and logging into that, typing out passwords and logins for my kids, that kind of stuff. It wasn't like any super long projects. So that is basically a recap on this summer. And now that I sit here and list it all out, I have answered my own question as to why it felt like it went by in the blink of an eye. It really did. I will say we lived these 6 weeks off to their fullest. We had a couple of pool days thrown in there here and there, but we were busy. We were doing things and really just creating memories for our family, and I'm really grateful to do so. I'm looking forward to the rhythm and structure and routine of getting back to our school year. Ironically, sometimes the school year feels slower to me because I am not trying to do 9,000 things in one day like I do when I'm on a break. I feel like when I get back into my homeschool rhythm, it's like every day is a school day, and so I don't plan anything else, just school, and then a workout, and then activities at night. Like that is my day. And so honestly, it does feel sometimes a little slower paced, which is funny. But I am looking forward to that. I am also really looking forward to learning with my kids this year. With my daughter being a junior, it is just all hitting so differently. And I don't want to be one of those moms that tells you like, enjoy every minute, it goes by so fast. And like the things that you see on Instagram that are like, you only get 18 summers with your kids. And like, I hate that because I sure hope my kids are 20 and I still get to hang out with them in the summer, you know? And I feel like those memes really just hit at the heartstrings of moms who are already well aware of how fleeting the time is with our kids. And it just makes you feel like you're never doing enough. Even if you are a very present and intentional mother, it like makes you think that you're not doing enough to savor it and slow down and all these things, or at least that's what it does with me. And so I don't want to perpetuate that, but I just want to tell you guys, like, junior year, so many of you guys have been around since the beginning and you've watched my kids grow up. Can you even believe that my daughter is 2 years away from graduating? And it feels like the oddest mix of emotions, and I just know that to get myself through the next 2 years, I am going to have to be at the feet of Jesus every single day, and to be there as I need to be, to not be there when I need to step back, to emotionally handle all that is changing and the dynamics and the shifting, and trusting that the Lord is going to protect her, trusting that I've done enough, trusting that she's going to make wise choices, trusting all, it's just going to be a whole thing. So as we go into this homeschool year, I am just ever aware of how quickly this time is going by. and there's a lot of changes that are on the horizon this year. And instead of like agonizing over them and being sad and depressed, I've really worked on approaching it with a thankful heart, and not trying to think so far into the future of like, what is this gonna look like, but more so just do the next right thing. As Elizabeth Elliot says, like, what's next for her? What's next for me? What is right for this specific month, season, day, and not projecting so far ahead. A lot of anxiety comes when I do that, and my mind spirals. And honestly, for her too, like she's got some ideas about things, but I'm not wanting her to feel any kind of stress or pressure like she's got to have it all figured out, at the age of 16. So it's just like, what is the next logical step in life for her, and what do we need to do to support that? And so as I go into the fall, as I go into the homeschool year, I want to be very aware of being at the feet of Jesus every single day. I want to begin my days daily with joy and gratitude that this has been my path, that the Lord has provided every step of the way, in every single way, not just financially, but in every way. And just with the healthy reminder that this season of motherhood is short. It is very short, and that every day has a purpose, and none of those days should be wasted. And I want to just have those things be at the forefront of my mind. I also want to be really aware of myself. When I left the personal training world and YouTube became a full-time job for me, I've just been kind of going at the pace in which the demands of the job have been throwing at me. And, there's been a few times where it's really led me to the point of exhaustion in myself, pressure I put on myself. No one does it to me. It is all myself. And it's because I physically can do it, but at what cost? And so I just want to be really aware of that this year. I want to have more peace in saying no to things, and more peace in the boundaries that I've set, and honoring those things and really sticking to them. So that's kind of where I'm at this fall as we begin another homeschool year. I am so thankful to God for this path, for his provision and his grace and his mercy. And I know that he is going to carry us through this next school year, and he will do the same for you. So that's going to be it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this summer recap chit chat. I would love to know what your summer included and entailed. Of course, I couldn't cover every single thing like house projects and things like that, or this video would be extremely long. But let me know with a comment down below how your summer was. Make sure you check out the link to Skillshare if you want to check it out for free with the free trial. That link is down below, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, friends.